Did you know you can study at a global university in Sri Lanka? Curtin University is ranked in the top 1% of universities in the world and offering engineering, computing and business degrees right here in Colombo at SLIIT International. Enrolments for February 2022 intake are now open. Call 076 555 8989.
Curtin's credentials speak for themselves. Placed in the top 1% of world universities and second in the world for mineral and mining engineering. As one of Western Australia's largest employers, Curtin directly contributes close to $2 billion to the state's economy. And as a thought leader, it is helping to transform the state at the highest levels. Internationally, our reputation has developed thanks to our physical presence with campuses around the world, students from more than 130 countries, and more than 90 industry, research and community partnerships in Australia and overseas. We share our expertise with the world, extend our influence through internationally significant collaborative research projects, and provide a world-class learning experience for our diverse student body, supporting them to take the leap into a wider world to pursue Curtin's trademark passion for innovation, experimentation, and entrepreneurship, building skilled and creative workforces to make tomorrow better all around the world.
Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I warmly welcome all of you to the Curtin University virtual panel for the 2022 February intake of students at SLIIT International. I am Sanuji Shantakumara from SLIIT International, and I will be your host for the session today. The session will begin with presentations from our guest speakers, followed by a question and answer session. Please be kind enough to keep your microphones muted during the presentations, and you will have your chance to clarify your doubts during the Q&A session afterwards. Do you enjoy solving problems and making a real difference in the world? Curtin University degree programs can prepare you for a successful and rewarding career in science, engineering, and business, not only in Sri Lanka, but all around the world. SLIIT has had a 20-year-long partnership with Curtin University, and we offer Curtin University full degree programs in computing, engineering, and in business here at SLIIT in Sri Lanka. So I would like to warmly invite Mr. Nigel De Silva, Director, Transnational Education and Partnerships of Curtin University, to speak more about our partnership and the Curtin University degree programs held here in Sri Lanka. Good afternoon, Nigel. Over to you.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you. Well, good morning. Thank you. And can you hear me okay?
Yes, Nigel, we can hear you.
Yes, great. Thank you. So welcome, everybody, and have all of you. It's a pleasure to be here and be able to speak to you and about our partnership with IIT. I have a short presentation which I would like to go through with you. I'll put that on the screen. Silva. I am the Director of Transportation and Partnerships at Curtin. I've been involved with the partnership with SLIIT for close to 20 years now. It's a very successful partnership on high quality education and trust. And we see this as a very long-term partnership for the university. And what we do in Sri Lanka is a very important part of the university as a whole. Curtin University is ranked in the top 1% of the university world, according to the academic rankings of world universities. In terms of how we sit in it within Australia, we're the 9th largest university in Australia, and we are usually a ranked university in Australia as well. What you might have heard of as the Group of 8 universities. So we snuggle in there quite nicely. We are a large university. We've got 58,000 students. Some of those students are international students studying in Perth or our campuses overseas. We have a lot of full, and just out of interest, we have the largest in Australia. So our university is a bustling in Perth itself. They're a highly global university. We have campuses in Singapore, Malaysia, Dubai, and Mauritius, and of course, our long-standing partnership with SLIIT in Colombo. Quite steeply over the last years, and that's largely been on the back of a real focus on research, having world-class and impactful research, and we've been very successful with that over the last 10 to 15 years, attracting high-quality researchers and having excellent programs and teaching academics, and 3 excellent teaching and research academics here with us who can share information about the courses. Shows our trajectory of how in the rankings. You can see it's quite a steep rise in the rankings. We're ranked mineral and mining engineering, which is really our cat along with the others. I'll move on because I've spoken about global. Large network of alumni, having so many international students all over the world, and studying with Curtin makes you an alumni and meet other bright minds from all over. We like to provide opportunities for our students to mix with their colleagues from all of our campuses. There's opportunities to transfer campuses, that be to Perth or any of our campuses in Dubai, Singapore, Mauritius, wherever you would like to go. And students do like that option. Many SLIIT students do choose to come to Perth and spend a year or 2, and we welcome that. So Curtin University is split into 4 faculties: in law, science and engineering, humanities, and health sciences. This year, in 2022, this program's SLIIT. We're very excited about that. Jay Ho here to speak. The other programs which we offer at SLIIT are from our Faculty of Science and Engineering. Real strength of the university and computing programs are world renowned, and our SLIIT graduates had excellent employment outcomes from these. So why choose Curtin University? Well, we have very strong industry collaboration. Technical university, we became a university in 19. The West Australian Institute of Technology in 1960. So we are young, but we have grown. And our research and teaching is highly geared towards the needs of industry around the world. Our learning and teaching are highly responsive of industry and career. and so we change regularly to make experiences really focused on and all environment is and we can say that about okay. So that's all I really want to pass over to my other colleagues about the courses in more detail, but happy to very much.
Thank you, Nigel, for sharing all that information with us. So next, I would like to invite Dr. Hannes Herman, the Director of Learning and Teaching at Curtin School of Electrical Engineering, Computing and Mathematical Sciences, to speak about the Curtin University computing programs offered here in Sri Lanka. Good afternoon, Dr. Hannes. You may start now.
Thank you. Nigel, could you please stop sharing your screen so I can share my one? Okay, let me try that one again. Okay, hopefully you can all see that. Thank you very much for inviting me to talk. I would love to be there in person to talk to you, but that's a bit difficult in these times. So let me give you a remote welcome to Curtin University. Nigel always does a great introduction to the university itself, and Cesar, who'll be talking later, will talk a lot about our industry links, so I'll cut that a little bit short. As mentioned, my name is Hannes. I'm a Director of Learning and Teaching for the school I'm in, School of Electrical Engineering, Computing, Mathematical Sciences. I'm wearing my hat as course coordinator for computing today, though, so if you have questions about computing, I'm a good person to ask. The email's at the end of the video again, the presentation again, and you can always ask SLIIT, they'll be able to pass anything on. Like I said, I won't dwell very strongly on the industry linkages, but fairly much all of our courses are very deeply linked with industry. In computing, we have an industry advisory board that we run potential changes past. We have a lot of industry partners where our students take their projects and we talk with them a lot. We talk with the employers of our graduates and we talk with the graduates themselves. And that allows us to shape a course that is very practical. We also know that computing changes a lot, so we focus very much on also making the course theoretical enough to keep up with all the changes happening in computing. It's really useful for everyone to have a good family around them. In this case, when you come to university, it is your new family. Of course, there's your cohort, your fellow students, and that's really important. But you also need good staff. And SLIIT have some very good staff. There's a special strength there in the networking area over in Sri Lanka. And quite a few of your staff have been doing research together with our staff. And I am very happy with our relationship with SLIIT, both for teaching and research. We are relatively well known in Perth. We seem to be getting recognition in many other parts of the world. That's because the quality of our students. That means we tend to be fairly tough to students. Don't expect an easy course coming through, but you really will learn some really important things, including things that you normally don't learn until you are in the first year or so of your work, such as full stack development, using repositories for group programming, etc., etc. That probably won't mean much to many of you, but it means something to employers. Like I said, we have a lot of links, global and local. We make sure we have a balance between theory and practice. We have a wide range of different options. I'll talk about the ones available at Sri Lanka, but be aware that the courses we offer in Sri Lanka are the same as the courses we offer at our other universities. So if you're taking, for example, cybersecurity in Sri Lanka, you're doing the same units as you would taking our cybersecurity course anywhere. You won't be getting a degree that says Sri Lanka on it. You'll be getting a degree that says Curtin on it because it's the same course. And of course, it's accredited by the Australian Computer Society, who are recognized in most of the world. I'll focus on three things. I'll focus on the Bachelor of Information Technology and two of the majors of the Bachelor of Computing. Sri Lanka has long been running IT and the software engineering major, but last year added the cybersecurity major as well. So those are the three that I will focus in on. Most of our courses are fairly much the same in the first year. It's a general introduction to computing. Where a lot of areas might go quite broad and go into circuits and whatever, we really focus just on the programming, because the outcome we want is our students to be the best programmers possible. So first year has a lot of very heavy programming units in it. The fundamentals of programming introduces you to Python. The blue and the green units, data structures, algorithms, and Unix and C programming, give you most of the rest of the toolbox. And after the first year, you have enough programming that you can solve decent tasks. We had a student who had done 1 year, admittedly, in our advanced science course and went on to win the state award, in fact, national award too, for a program she then wrote over the summer. She was an exceptional student, but you do have the tools just from those units to be a decent programmer. After that, it's really going into details. The Bachelor of IT looks at networking, and it's a more generalist degree than the Bachelor of Computing. You're learning things like how to manage a workplace, how to deal with a lot more networks. So the Bachelor of IT is really useful if you're looking to work in a small to medium enterprise where you might have to do something other than just coding. If you're just wanting to do coding, you're probably looking at our Bachelor of Computing. But the Bachelor of IT gives you good programming in Python and C. It teaches you a lot about network distributed programming, and of course, it goes deeply into Unix systems programming, and of course, various security things like server hardening, because that's vital these days. The first major is software engineering for Bachelor of Computing. You can see the first year is fairly much the same, apart from the red unit is now a Java unit rather than a Python unit. This is our premier computing course. So if you want to do programming, if you do large scale programming, the Bachelor of Computing is what you're looking at basically. And software engineering in particular is for large iterative programming in teams. So if you want to go and work somewhere like Microsoft where they have the same product like Word and they just improve it every year, Bachelor of Computing Software Engineering is what you're looking for. There's security in there because everyone needs it, but there's a lot of software engineering, and that's what you need to do in your job basically. So this is really for serious programmers, advanced programming, Java, C, a few other things. You look at design patterns, object orientation, things that make programming in a maintainable and efficient way easier, and of course requirements engineering and other software engineering aspects. There is a bit of data and software security in there, but really we're focusing on the coding. And the last one I'd wanted to talk about is cybersecurity. Obviously, that's about cybersecurity. There is some policy in here. We've got a few policy units, but most of this course focuses on, the defense of structures. Why? Because you're going to be doing a lot more defense than attack. the number of jobs for penetration testers is probably in almost all cases a lot less than jobs for companies that want to defend their systems. And we do offer, there's a lot of international hackathons where you can hone those penetration testing skills. The important thing with our Bachelor of Computing that sets it apart, cybersecurity, is that it's still a coding degree. It's not just a cyber policy degree. So you still learn your intermediate programming in Java and C. We do cover the ISO 27000 policy for incident handling, which is the key one internationally. And we do look at hands-on cyber attack and defense. Fairly practical things, a lot of problem solving, very challenging, because if you're going into cybersecurity, you'll be pitting your minds against the best people in the world. That's where the money is. The good news is our courses are challenging, but the rewards are very good. I'll be running this survey again this year. I delayed it a little bit because COVID has been doing through their final year. So that was May in their final year. So of those students that said they were looking for a job, almost all of them already had jobs lined up for graduation. There were a couple that weren't actively looking for jobs. They was thinking of doing further study. A decent chunk of those students were from Sri Lanka. So I know that this applies not just to Bentley, it also applies to Sri Lanka. Our students generally get jobs fairly easily because they are job ready while being able to keep up with change. Now, I've run out of time, so I'll leave you with this comment from a student, these two comments. Students do learn a lot from us, and I'm very happy to be associated with these degrees. I'm also very happy to answer questions later when this is all over. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Hannes, for that detailed explanations. Now I would like to welcome Associate Professor Cesar Sanchez, Engineering Foundation Year Academic Lead, Faculty of Science and Engineering of Curtin University, to speak about the Curtin University engineering programs being offered here in Sri Lanka. Good afternoon, Professor Sanchez. Over to you.
Good afternoon. You can hear me okay, right? And you're seeing my
Yes.
slides. Perfect. Well, good morning, Sri Lanka. Good afternoon, Perth. My name is Cesar Ortega. I'm the academic lead of the Engineering Foundation year. We call it in Bentley, but will be for you will be the Engineering Common First year in SLIIT. I wanted to start this presentation by citing the definition of engineering by Engineers Australia, the accrediting body in Australia. And as you see, it's well quite a mouthful there, but it's very comprehensive. It's about knowledge, it's about application, but it's about social responsibility too. So all this is good, but the way I want to summarize this is that engineering is about people, right? Engineering is about people. It's okay to be good at maths, it's okay to be good at science, but to be a good engineer, you need to care about people. So there are problems, that we have to solve that have to do with the high end of the spectrum, people wanting faster internet, wanting electric cars with long mileage, wanting teletransportation. And there are engineers working on those problems. However, a big, significant part of the population in the world still has very basic needs: housing, hygiene, education, medical attention. And engineers also have a big contribution to make in these areas. So engineering is about people. Sometimes we're working on perhaps a research center, working on the state-of-the-art applications and solutions to problems, but we also want to make sure that you know that there's another end of the spectrum where there are people with very basic needs, and you can be part of the solution to make their lives better. We at Curtin are very mindful of this. We use a lot the UN Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, as we call them. These are the major challenges that the humanity faces these days, according to the UN. And these are a very good framework to imagine what kind of jobs, what kind of work, what kind of problems you will be solving as an engineer. As you can see, or you can imagine perhaps, many of these problems will require collaboration from people coming from different disciplines with different backgrounds. So engineers will have to work hand in hand with scientists, psychologists, educators, sociologists, politicians to find solutions to these challenges. So you have to have a very open mind when you come to engineering, right? Don't think that engineering is just maths and science and solving problems. It's all that, but with the purpose of solving problems for people. And these are the big picture that will perhaps dominate your professional life in the near future. And coming along with this, following these lines, then engineering has many faces. Again, regardless of what your strongholds are, I mean, if you're good at maths and science, perhaps you will be a fantastic designer, you know, an innovator, a creator of new things. But if you're very good with your hands, you can be a very good maintenance engineer or a field engineer. If you have a mind for programming, for computing, for logical thinking, you could be a very good programmer or a negotiator. If you are very good with people, if you like talking, if you like listening, you could be a very good negotiator. You could be a very good salesperson. You could be in management. And if you have all of that and you want to really make an impact in the world, you can even become a politician. So whatever your preference, whatever your strongholds are, you will find a place in engineering. There's a place in engineering for you. So keep that in mind. Engineering is not just the hard hat and the steel cap boots and always, you know, doing hands-on jobs. Some engineers work like that, but not all of them. So engineering is very, very broad. At Curtin SLIIT, we offer 4 programs in engineering: civil and construction, electrical and electronic, mechanical and mechatronic. These programs are 4 years long. I will talk about that in a minute. So when you come to Curtin, you have to think that you're going to embark in a transformative program, right? This is the motto for the Engineering Common first year. Engineering is not something you do, it's something you become, right? When you come to Curtin, you're going to be transformed to adopt and embrace and live, demonstrate the behaviors of a professional engineer, the way you speak, the way you solve problems, the way you communicate with others, the way you approach problem solving, the knowledge you have and you apply in your solutions. All those features will be part of you as an engineer. So it's not about passing units, it's not about collecting credits, doing 4 years sentence at Curtin, and then you are an engineer. No, you need to be transformed. You need to consciously, purposely make an effort to change the ways, your ways, into the ways of a professional engineer. So keep that in mind. That's a very powerful image. It's not about what you do, it's about what you become. So our Curtin program in engineering is very well recognized. We offer a world-class engineering program. It's an accredited program, accredited by Engineers Australia, as you see. And by that means that being part of a signatory, Engineers Australia is a signatory of the Washington Accord, which means that engineers from all these countries mutually acknowledge their degrees. So if you graduate from Curtin, you will be recognized as an engineer, a professional engineer in all these countries. We have a reputation at Curtin of being very hands-on. So you will be participating in lots of labs, lots of projects, lots of teamwork. You will have to write lots of reports. You will have to do lots of oral presentations. So those skills are very, very important in the world these days. When you find a job, you will find that most of your time you will be communicating, either by writing reports or by talking to customers or clients. So communication is very, very important, but as are the tools and techniques that you will learn in labs and tutorials and workshops. We have a brand new facilities exclusive for Curtin students in Sri Lanka. These are some photographs that I sourced somewhere just to show you the sort of state-of-the-art world-class facilities that you will be using by joining Curtin to do engineering. And this is the typical engineering course. The course is 4 years. So we count credits. Every year you will be completing 200 credits or 100 credits per semester. The first year is common. All engineering disciplines do the same first year. After that, you need to select a major, one of the 4 I listed before. And then in year 2, you do basic discipline content, year 3, intermediate discipline content. And in year 4, you will be doing advanced discipline content and a final year project. The final year project is individual and it lasts for a whole year. And it's your opportunity to demonstrate that you have become a professional engineer and you're ready to be unleashed to the world to become an exercise engineering. At this point in time, my understanding is that all the program can be taken locally at Sri Lanka, but if you want to transfer to Australia at any point in this journey, you may, and you may be doing some years in Sri Lanka and some years in Bentley in Australia. That is up to you. This is the structure for the common first year in Sri Lanka. In semester 1, you take these 4 units. In first year, we have engineering foundations, principles, design, and communication, which is like the core, the main unit in the first year. This is where you will be working in teams to solve problems, to communicate. We have, of course, mathematics. We have 1 unit in linear algebra in semester 1 and 1 unit in calculus in semester 2. We have the science units, we have mechanics, we have electrical systems, and we have resources, processes, and materials engineering. We have a unit in programming. In this unit, you will be learning Python. We believe that programming is a skill, a tool that every engineer needs these days, regardless of discipline. And there is an option. That could be physics or chemistry, depending on your background, or if you have both from high school, you can do an option. It's a broadening unit. If you want to find more information about the structure, the content of these units, you may consult the handbook in this website, handbook.curtin.edu.au, and you will find information on all this. If you require more information about the engineering programs, Curtin in general, you may visit the engineering website at SLIIT. In this link, handbook, and future students with lots of resources to support you. So I think that's it. That's all I want to say about engineering. I hope you find this information useful, and I will be available for questions after the other presentations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Sanchez. So now I would like to invite Dr. J. Han Ho, the Senior Lecturer, School of Accounting, Economics and Finance, Faculty of Business and Law, to speak about the newly introduced Bachelor of Business Administration program from Curtin University. Good afternoon, Dr. Ho. The floor is yours.
Hello, thank you. Happy New Year, everybody. I'm Jay Ho from the Faculty of Business and Law and the Faculty Course Coordinator for the Bachelor of Commerce, Bachelor of Business Administration, and the Masters of Commerce. Now, thank you so much for being here today, and I will be presenting on the Bachelor of Business Administration information session. Now, first things first, why study business? Well, business is about, well, finding a job, making sure that you get ready for the business world and being able to earn a good income, find a career trajectory that you like, and build a better life for yourself. So one of the main ideas about this is that we're trying to build what we call the T-shaped graduate. And the reason why we're trying to build a T-shaped graduate is because we're trying to make sure that our students come out and they're going to be adaptive enough, and they're going to be dynamic enough to tackle a wide range of different kind of careers that you want. And the Bachelor of Business Administration is designed specifically to assist students to be that dynamic, adaptive person in whichever country you're going to want to work in. So the reason why we train our students that way is because we want them to be able to be problem solvers, to be solution providers. And we want to train our students to think about how to ask the right questions. And some of the best things that I've enjoyed in class is our students actually asking really big matter questions and saying, hi, Jay, the topic that we learned today, how do we actually apply it? How does it work? How does it break down? When does it not work? And these are the things that we need students to understand, because we understand that there's plenty of information and plenty of courses. You can even learn things off YouTube. But what makes us special is that we train our students in things where you will not be able to find information and education about things and how they work across the world. And we take it in a very global sense. Now, we also train and do our best to future-proof our students' careers. We're always constantly thinking about how we can adapt, how we can improve. And not only that, some of the reasons why we've got so many accreditations at Curtin and also at Faculty of Business and Law is also trying to make sure that our students are getting the top level, the best quality education they can get. And we're also making sure that they're being taught the right amount of content, the amount of industry engagement, the amount of work integrated learning to make sure that they get the best experience and gain real world experience from it. Now, one of the other things that we're also trying to do is we're also trying to make sure that you diversify your skill set sufficiently, because the world has changed so much in the last couple of years, and we all know that we realize that knowing just one specific skill itself is not enough. We know that we need a diversification. We need students that can work across a wide range of different industries as well. And the BBA is actually there for people who are interested in working in business and being able to work across multiple different types of industry, especially one that's as dynamic as Sri Lanka, because my understanding that one of your largest industries is textile, is tourism, is exports, is trading. And you guys have so much of that, which is why our course at the BBA is going to be very well suited for you. Now, the thing is that we understand that the possibilities are endless, and the BBA is there because we understand that the future job demands is about transferable skills. It's about being able to work in different sets, with different groups, in whether independently or in groups. And we also understand that Generation Z now has, on average, 6 careers in their lifetime. That means you might not be working in specifically one role or one industry itself. You'll be working across many different things. And being able to adapt to that is very important in our BBA students. Now, obviously, the other thing as well is that 74% of people believe that the job has a significant influence on their quality of life. Well, let me commend you on one very important thing. Your education is the most important investment for you ever. So welcome. Kudos to you on going into that journey now. And I'm hoping that you guys will all join us on that journey at Curtin as well. Now, Nigel's already touched on quite a few things on the Curtin Edge, so I'm not going to explain too much of that. But the thing is that we are the most accredited business school in Western Australia. The other thing is that accreditations. Why we say that accreditation is really important, and why are we always chasing that, is because accreditation makes sure that we're always on our best practices. We're always looking out to making sure that we are teaching our students to the quality of American standards, European standards, and also the best of Australian standards. We're going out there, we're making sure that we're teaching you relevant information, going out there to make sure that we're teaching you with the best quality tools, materials, methods, and everything else possible. Okay, so a couple of accreditations that we have over here is the AACSB, which is the main American accreditation, and we also have the EQUIS accreditation, which is the main European accreditation for business schools, as well as we do have the special accreditation for our MBA. We are also signatories to the UN PRME, and we are also in the top 10 business schools in Australia with the 4 Palms accreditation in Australia. Now, the Bachelor of Business Administration is about a broad understanding of business theories and operation. It's there to help diversify your career path, as I mentioned before. It is a 3-year undergraduate program, and we're looking to train students which are practical, industry-focused, with a global focus on international recognition, because you are with an internationally accredited university and course. Now, there is a diverse range of business specialization that can be studied in many, many different structures. However, structures that we have for the business administration is a new structure that's just been launched in 2020. So you guys have a very, very new modern structure. We've just gone through a lot of course reviews where a lot of new units are being rolled out in 2022. So you'll be getting a lot of brand new fresh units, which have all been updated just this year, rolling out in 2022. And the demand for our BBA has doubled from 2019 to 2021. It is very, very popular. Now, the things that our student satisfaction at Curtin has traditionally been really, really high. I was just looking at the stats today. From 2017 all the way up to the end of 2021, we have a overall student satisfaction of 89%. Now, that is really, really phenomenal at 89%. We have our courses available in 4 different locations, and this is typically the structure that we'll be looking at. So doing the BBA at SLIIT, you will traditionally start with your business core foundation units, which is your analytics for decision making, communication cultures, indigenous perspectives in business, financial decision making, markets and legal frameworks, and strategic career design. You then have the management core. It means you'll be doing 11 foundational core units so that you understand the broad scope of what is required to operate in business. Okay, so you'll be understanding and going through discovering marketing, human resources, financial principles, information system, organizational behavior, and project management. Now, the 3 specialization that's available at SLIIT, which is digital marketing, innovation and entrepreneurship, and international management, are the 3 main specializations that you'll be doing. Now, if you think about these 3 main specializations, one of the core things about in Sri Lanka, major development, major innovations, and entrepreneurship. There's so much that's growing from Sri Lanka, and the importance of digital marketing and also international management is going to be helping you in your career across many, many different industries in your country and also internationally. Now, as you complete all foundational units and into your specializations, once you've completed all that, we have what we call the capstone experience. Now, the capstone experience is a very, very unique experience that we only give to final year students that are about to graduate, and we want you to use and kind of distill all the information and all the knowledge and all the experience that you have into a unit where you are grouped together in bundles of students with many, many different backgrounds, different educational majors, where you work in teams to understand that when you're a student in commerce, you're working with a student in accounting, with marketing, with finance, with across many, many different types of major, where you're actually learning how to work with them and understanding the key knowledge, experience, and discipline knowledge that you have to be able to operate in a very, very efficient and effective manner. So this is generally the Bachelor of Business Administration, and that is pretty much my presentation. Thank you very much. I'll hand you off.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ho. So that was very informative for all our students. So now let us have a glimpse of our new campus premises here in Sri Lanka for the Curtin students. So that was a small glimpse at our new campus premises here in Sri Lanka at SLIIT International Navamawata. So now we have a current student here with us, a Curtin student from the second year, who is going to be sharing his experiences with all of you regarding his journey with the Curtin degree programs, and that's SLIIT International. So hello, Jonathan. Good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Sanuji. Thank you for
Hello.
having me, and I'm very honored to talk in front of you, like my professors, staff, and parents, and my dear brothers and sisters.
So, Jonathan, tell us a little bit about yourself. How are you, and what have you been up to?
Yeah, so to give a small summary about me, I'm Janus Nivaratna, and I'm going to the second year, so in 2022, and I'm specializing in software engineering. And apart from my studies, I'm working as a batch representative. And last year I was elected as the student guild president. And yeah, I'm waiting for the second year commencement. And yeah, that's a summary about me.
Right, so sounds good. So, Janva, tell us a little bit about why you decided to choose Curtin degree for your higher education, and why you decided to join SLIIT International as well.
Yeah, the main reason is because my goal at the end is to complete my degree in my country. So the Curtin University at SLIIT International offers the 3-year degree, and I could complete the whole degree in Sri Lanka, but it's flexible. You can transfer at any time if you wish to. And the next reason is that it's in the top 1% of university rankings, and also the degree is provided by SLIIT. So those were the main reasons that I chose SLIIT International, the Curtin University degree for my higher education.
Right. So you've been studying with us for about 1 year now. So tell us a little bit about your journey during your first year, about your lectures and everything else.
Yeah, so my journey started in Curtin University from the orientation. So talking about the orientation, it was very helpful for us to gain the skills that are necessary for our program, for my program, while I'm doing my online lecture studies right now. And since the pandemic situation, for the first year, we had to go through online lectures. But even though I didn't find it hard, because there's a specific structure of teaching amongst lecturers, and also there are instructors who were there to assist us and help whenever we needed. And also the main advantage we got was to getting to learn from 2 lecturers per 1 module. So there was a foreign lecturer for us and a local lecturer. So we can get the knowledge of both lecturers per 1 module. So that was a major reason. And also to talk about the extracurricular activities that we have in SLIIT and SLIIT International. So the students I was able to join in those and use my potential skills in the extracurricular activities as well. So that's my experience in Curtin University SLIIT International so far.
So sounds like you had a good and I think it was eventful year for you as well, your first year. So now here we have students who are looking forward to join the Curtin programs and start their higher education with us. So anything you'd like to let them know, and maybe a bit of advice or something you want to tell the students who are hoping to join with us?
Yeah, so the Curtin University degree is for the students who are committed and involved in their studies, who are going to the workforce tomorrow, maybe today, or maybe after 3 years or 4 years. So of course, the university life is really wonderful until you keep in track and plan ahead. So it is important to take a strong start when you are starting the first year of yours, and keep ahead, be a step ahead of others to ensure a successful completion of your degree, and also take part in extracurricular activities and studies, because it's better to keep it balanced, because in the end, when you finally graduate and reflect on yourself, on the university life that you had, there should be no regrets in the end. So I would like to invite you all to join our team and make your university life a great one. Thank you.
Thank you, Janudha. So I think Janudha had a very good experience. So you, like Janudha, can join with us and start your higher education here with us at SLIIT International with the Curtin programs. So now we are open for the Q&A session. So if there is any clarifications you would like, you may unmute your mics and direct the questions, or you can even use the chat box and direct your questions and we will clarify everything. So there is one question: are scholarships given in case of transferring to Perth if you have a high GPA in the first year?
I'm not really the best person to talk to on scholarships. There are scholarships for high-performing international students. Nigel, do you have more information on that?
Nigel, we cannot hear you clearly.
You weren't muted, but yeah, I couldn't hear you, sorry.
Yes.
I'll just answer the next question. The programming languages, for software engineering, you start with Java because it's the single most sought after language in job advertisements. So, you know, that's fairly common. You go into C programming, and some of the units touch other languages as well. But our general approach is that we teach programming, we don't teach languages. Java is taken as an example of a useful language that's object-oriented. C is taken as a useful low-level language that's compiled at command line. If you know those, you can generally pick up things like C++, C#, fairly easily. We will often make other opportunities available. Can you transfer to Dubai campus for the last year? That gets messy. So for example, if you're doing software engineering, you couldn't transfer to Dubai because Dubai doesn't offer software engineering. In general though, if the same degree is offered at two different campuses, you should be able to transfer between those campuses. Be aware that Dubai isn't using semester model though, so that you have to time that properly. If you talk about exceptions, if you have already studied somewhere else, then you can apply for credit for recognition of prior learning, basically. That can be a bit tough because our units are fairly packed, but you can put in an application and the SLIIT staff will be able to help you with that. Is there an option to do honours year in software engineering? Yes, absolutely. Now, at the moment, there's no honours year offered in Sri Lanka. There is an honours year offered at Bentley. It's a general computing honours year. So I can say there is an honours year that's not currently at SLIIT. If you want to do 2 and 2, I think Pradeep's question is probably to Cesar, was 2 and 2. If you've done a unit in Sri Lanka, then there's no difference having done that unit in Sri Lanka or in Malaysia or in Perth, whatever. The unit is the unit, it transfers everywhere. The degree is the degree, it transfers everywhere. They are all the same. Nigel, do you want to try again about scholarships, since there's another question there? So I still can't hear you, Nigel. Okay, going on to the next one, live and recorded lectures. That depends a little bit unit by unit. the people who are in charge of the unit have different options. So, for example, we might have a part that is recorded, a part that is meant to be done face-to-face that is not recorded. So anything that's recorded that Perth students get access to, students in all other campuses would normally also get access to, in addition to whatever they get access to at their local campus. That is unit by unit though. Foundation program for engineering, that's somebody else, Sahan's question.
Right, so there's a few more questions regarding the entry requirements. So we will share the entry requirements with all of you all, but just to give you a brief idea about it, for engineering, you would need a minimum of 3 seats from A-levels. And for the computing programs for software engineering, cybersecurity, a minimum of 3 seats as well. And for information technology and for computer systems and networking, you are able to apply directly with 1 C pass and 2 S passes. And yes, students can apply with pending results if you have completed your A-levels. So we are taking in students who are sitting for the 2022 February GCE A-levels, that is the 2021 year A-levels. So you can apply with pending results and join the degree program as well. And if you are not coming from any A-level background, you can join the Curtin Foundations at the SLIIT Academy, and then you may join the degree programs once you have completed the foundation year.
Cesar has very carefully and very helpfully posted the link to scholarships, which is very useful. Answering Talina's question on the difference between software engineering 3 and 4 year, in Australia, a science degree is 3 year and engineering degree is 4 year. So that's why our basic degree is 3 years. You can, of course, do an honours to do the 4th year. We find that our 3-year students are very capable of going out and getting jobs, but if you want to go on and work, say in Europe or the America, or if you want to go off and maybe do higher degrees, you really should do that 4th year in honours. So that's the difference between the 3rd and 4th year. A has asked about the difference between IT and software engineering. IT is really designed more for people who are going to be working in a position where they have to be a bit more flexible. They won't have the same level of programming skills as someone doing software engineering, but they will have a broader skill set. They can handle computer network setups quite easily. They know about purchase orders, and they will learn about defending a network and computers from intrusion. So if you're going to go into a startup, for example, IT gives you a really good skill set for that. IT course is also somewhat easier than the software engineering course. Doing the same unit with either Java or Python, you'll probably find Java is a lot more complicated. So the difference is IT is a little bit easier and it's more general. Software engineering is more full-on heavy coding. Engineering question from Izila. And it looks like it's already been answered. Okay.
Yes, I got that. Yes, Isila, thank you for your question. The common first year is common, as the name implies, for all disciplines. So if you nominated mechanical engineering and you, during the first year, decide you want to do civil engineering or electrical engineering, you may change major as many times as you want. You just have to make your mind before year 2. And in Bentley, in Australia, we have 9 different disciplines as opposed to 4 in Sri Lanka. So if you are interested in chemical engineering or mining engineering, petroleum engineering, you may come to Bentley after the first year in Sri Lanka.
Regarding the question about a math background, students can apply from any field from in A-levels, but if you have a math background, it will be an added advantage. Students who have not completed a math subject in A-levels will have to complete one additional math module during the first semester of the degree program. But you can join from any stream as long as you have the minimum entry requirements needed for the particular program. So there is a question of whether the credit points will be transferred if a student decides to do the first 2 years in Sri Lanka and the last 2 years in Perth.
Yeah, that's more or less been answered, I think.
Right.
The unit is the same everywhere.
Right. So, Philippe, I think your credits will be transferred if you decide to transfer your final 2 years, and you can graduate upon completion of the degree.
Prabhash has asked whether there's 2 teachers for every subject. Just to be exact, every unit has an overall unit coordinator who is generally based in Bentley, Perth, but not always. They're the ones who are in overall charge of the unit. You also have a local teacher in each location. The UC is normally the teacher in their location, but so for Sri Lanka, what normally happens is that you have a Bentley UC who teaches it at Bentley and a Sri Lankan teacher who teaches it in Sri Lanka. Students will get some communications from the UC internationally and often have access to the recorded lectures of the like when the UC shares those. But you really have mainly one teacher in Sri Lanka. And as I said earlier, the Sri Lanka staff are actually excellent. So that isn't a shortcoming in any way. You will possibly also have somebody else in a laboratory or whatever. Some of our first year labs do have 2 people in them, but in general, you have that UC and lecturer pairing.
Right. So regarding Sahan's question, if you do not have A-level background, you can follow the foundation course for engineering at SLIIT Academy, and then once completed, you can join the degree programs here at SLIIT International. There is a question, are the exams and assessments marked by the examiner panel at SLIIT or at Curtin, Perth?
The marking of assessments is local. So there is moderation practices. We exchange samples of assessments both ways as a moderation exercise. Sometimes there are discrepancies in the criteria used to assess pieces, and then we moderate, we change, we adjust marks. It's not common, but that's the purpose, basically, to make sure that the quality of the assessment is the same. But the normal way to assess is local. So the local people will mark the assessments in general.
Right. Is there any difference in recognition for completing the degree in Sri Lanka and completing the degree in Perth, or are they both the same?
I'm assuming that by recognition, it means the same accreditation, the same, I don't know. The answer to all those is yes. I mean, this is basically the same program, same quality. It's just the location. So yeah, the degrees are identical and will be equally recognized by all bodies that recognize our courses.
Is there any program majoring in artificial intelligence? At the moment, Sahan, we do not have that program being offered here at SLIIT International. Shamar, if you have completed a diploma, you can apply from exemptions to join the degree program and see what exemptions you will get, and if so, how you can join the degree program at Curtin. Is the laboratory infrastructure and practical environment same? So SLIIT International is providing the laboratory facilities for the students who are studying the 13 programs here. So all the needed equipment and facilities will be provided to you at the Navama campus.
Well, just to complement that, yeah, the laboratory and activities, and all activities for that matter, are identical or are supposed to be identical in Perth and in Sri Lanka and Dubai and Miri in Malaysia. Therefore, we have the same equipment, the same transcripts, the same assessments everywhere. So yeah, the answer is yes. Is the same.
Right. So another question, hopefully we can answer this. Even if the computing degree is completed in Sri Lanka, it will be recognized by ACS. Hopefully Dr. Hannes can give some clarification.
Training period at the end of software engineering. I'm not. Oh, okay. If you're talking about PR, I believe the normal practice is to have done 2 years in Australia for that particular entryway. If you're talking about the skilled migration, then that depends on the list of jobs put out by the government. And I can't say now for sure whether software engineering will be on that list when you graduate. If it is on the list, then
You broke down, Hannes. We are not hearing you, Hannes. Oh, he left us in a cliffhanger there.
Right, so there is one more question from a couple of students. If they do not reach the minimum results after pending A levels, what would happen afterwards? So I think depending on the situation, you can either resit your examinations, or you can join the foundation program and complete that, and then rejoin the degree program if the minimum requirements are not met by the time the results are released. Also, I think there's a question from Ms. Yashoda here. Can SLIIT students apply for temporary graduate visa for work experience after completion of the degree programs? Ms. Yashoda?
Yes, Sanuji, students can apply for this temporary graduate work visa. But obviously just keep in mind, provided that this scheme is available by the time the students graduate, then of course they can apply for it.
Right. Also, regarding the biomedical engineering, so currently at SLIIT International, we do not have biomedical engineering from Curtin University, so you can join one of the 4 programs being offered. If not, I think it would be a direct transfer over to Perth.
But we don't have biomedical engineering either in Perth.
Oh, right. So then you would have to select one of the options available at the Curtin University. Right. Also, I think there was a question for Dr. Ho here.
Yes. The question was the BBA degree valid only in Sri Lanka? The
Yes.
BBA degree is valid everywhere.
Right. So I think that's a good clarification. Is there any more clarifications you would like to get right now? Right. So just before winding up, We have started our orientation UniPrep program for the students joining the February 2022 intake. We commenced the program yesterday, so you still have chances to join the program. You all can register now for the 2022 semester, the February intake, and you all can join with the UniPrep program and commence the semester as well. And also, if you are pending A-levels or pending A-level results, you can apply for the 2022 February intake here as well. So our contact details have been mentioned in the chat. So you all can contact us for any further information or visit our campus here at Namamawatha for any further clarifications and to register for the degree program as well. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Nigel, Dr. Hannes, Professor Sanchez, and Dr. Ho from Curtin University for joining with us today and giving us more information of the programs being offered, and also all these other staff members at Curtin University and the staff here at SLIIT International and our students who also participated for making the virtual panel a great success. So thank you so much on behalf of us. And students, if you have any further clarifications, you can contact us. So winding up, I would just like to leave you with a quote with Nelson Mandela. Education is the most important weapon which you can use to change the world. So have a wonderful day, Happy New Year, and stay safe, everyone.
Good to see you all.
Thank you all.
Have a good day and a good year.